Hello everyone, would like to welcome you all to the platform of Ecoholics. Now, this particular news has been there for quite some time that India has achieved highest ever exports in 2024-2025. But then again, the question is how exactly do we need to decode this particular news from various examination point of view? You may be preparing for any state civil services mains examination or even IES examination or even civil services examination. This particular pointer can be of much utility, and I can assure you that we'll be decoding it specifically. So just to start with, would like to tell you that this is what exactly was the news, that India's exports have even crossed $820 billion in the last financial year, that was 2024-2025. This has been reported by the Commerce Ministry. Now, the biggest question which comes to the mind is that what exactly is the contribution of services in this? What exactly is the contribution of merchandise, or as we call it, goods? That said, we also want to know that how is agriculture doing in terms of exports? Are we exporting anything from that particular component? Are we doing the agriculture export? And we'll also try to figure out that what exactly has led to this situation. We have seen increasing exports. What steps have been taken by the government? What 4 or 5 prominent steps are there which we certainly need to know? And this can be really helpful even if you go to any interview, UPSC interview. These particular things can be of immense help. So I hope you find this particular session valuable. Do let me know in the comment section if you find it useful. On this note, we'll be starting this. So now the most important thing is that what makes this news even more relevant. ये इतनी important क्यों हो जाती है? Because if you see it in the international front, what all are we seeing? We are seeing Red Sea crisis. Now, what is Red Sea crisis? We are seeing Houthis rebels. They are totally disrupting that path. If you have to go to the Suez Canal, you have to go to Mediterranean Sea, Europe access. So it is being blocked by Houthis continuously. We are seeing Russia-Ukraine war is there. We have seen in Panama Canal also, drought is there in the Central America. We have seen so many non-tariff measures by various countries. Now, why non-tariff measures are bad? Because they do disrupt the trade. The energy prices are rising. Recently, we have seen the crude price rise as well. Now, amidst all these particular aspects, what we have seen is that we have reached around $825 billion of total exports. Now, what is great is that is around 6% more what we did in the 2023-2024 year. So we did around $778 billion. So from $778 billion, 6% up is $824.9 billion, or I can say $825 billion. Now that is great. But we have to decode this particular news, that what exactly is the share of the goods, what exactly is the share of the services. So we have to have a basic idea about that, only then we'll be moving ahead. All right. So having said that, let me tell you, this is how the total export value looks like. So this is a very interesting graph. As you can see, I'll be going off the screen so that you can see that clearly. So you certainly can see that for a long period of time, we were in the range of $400 to $500 billion. In 2018-2019, we breached this range to reach to around $500 billion. And the best part is that from, even if we talk about the COVID year and post that, we have seen continuous increase in the value of exports. So it was around $500 billion, then 676, then 776. We saw a bit of a dip, and then finally we have breached the $800 billion cap, which is great. And this is what we have done in 2024-2025. I'm sure that in the coming years, we'll be doing even way better than this. You can take a screenshot as well. Having said that, now the best part is that you have to understand, when we talk about the goods export, merchandise export, we have increased it to around $437 billion. Now, I know it is not a great increase, it is almost similar to what we did in the previous year. But the most important thing is, when we talk about the services exports, we have seen historic high of around $387 billion. So that is massive. That's around 13.6% of increase from what we did previous year. Would like to tell you one thing over here. If you have studied the economic survey this year, you must have observed this particular thing, that even economic survey tells us that we import more merchandise than we export. Okay, so in this particular department, certainly we are not exporting more than what we import. But the best part is, when it comes to services, we do export more services than we import. So that is a great thing. So it acts as a great balancer when we calculate the CAD, current account deficit, we calculate, or even for that matter balance of payments. तो services exports play a huge role. So आपको ये बात ध्यान में रखनी है that जब भी services export की बात आती है, we have achieved a good number, 387 billion of service export is massive. And in terms of the goods, we have done around $437 billion. That's what we did the previous year as well. So you can certainly have a look over here. I hope it's very much visible to you. So now the most important thing is, I would like to tell you that when we talk about India's non-petroleum merchandise export, that also has seen a great push, since COVID, we have not seen, we have not looked back. So it is around $374 billion. That is for 2024-2025. Now, I would like to tell you one very interesting thing, that whenever we talk about the overall merchandise export, and then we talk about non-petroleum merchandise export, there's a bit of a difference. What is the difference? As the name indicates, here we are not including the petroleum products. Okay, so we do export a lot of petroleum products after refining them. So उसको हम यहाँ पे include नहीं कर रहे. So why do we calculate this separately? Just to tell you, because petroleum prices are very much volatile. So every day the price of the crude oil is changing, and whatever we get from the crude oil, like it can be diesel, petrol, ATF, all that. So उसके price fluctuate करते हैं. That's why we do calculate this particular data as well. So you don't need to remember this data. You just need to remember one data, and that is this. That $824 billion is our overall export value in the year 2024-2025. That would be it. And would like to tell you that India's 2014 2014 ki merchandise export value was at $321 billion. Now the best part is that from here till here it has been a long journey without any doubt. So I would like to make sure that you all understand that we have come a long way. So when we talk about this merchandise export value of $321 billion, that was way less than what we have achieved right now. So this certainly tells us that we are on the right path when it comes to the exports. Certainly we need to do well than this, but yeah, we have been doing great. So no doubt about that. So this is quite an important thing which we need to understand, that according to UNCTAD data, 2014 May, we had $321 billion, and now we have seen it has increased to a great extent. But of course, we need to do better than this. So this is something which I would make sure that you all understand, that we have to do better than this. Coming to the India's services export also, I would like to tell you, the best part is that from 2014, 2015 to 2024, 2025, like from here till here, we have seen a gradual increase, no doubt, but it is around 145% of increase. So in the past 10 years, we have seen around 145% increase in the services exports ki value. So this actually explains that how well India is doing in this particular sector. So that is something I would want you all to make sure you understand, that it is actually important. Anyways, so now you know that marginally we have improved the merchandise export, and tremendously we have improved the services export, as you all can see. When it comes to agriculture export growth, I would like to tell you that in recent times we have pushed so much on the organic production and organic export. But let me tell you that in the past 10 years, what we have seen is like from 2013, 2014, like $23 billion we used to export. So we saw a massive increase of more than 100%. We reached around $48 billion for 2023-2024. Now the best part is it has further increased. Yes, it has further increased to $51.9 billion. So you don't need to cram this data. I'm just giving you an idea that for 2024-2025, we have seen a massive increase. Like there's a 6.4% increase in the past year, as you can very well see in this data. Getting it? 51.9 billion from $48 billion we have seen. So what exactly I'm talking about? I'm talking about the agriculture export growth. So in terms of agriculture's export, we have improved from $48.8 billion to $51.9 billion. This is what you need to have an idea about, that we are doing well in the agriculture export as well. And the best part is that National Program for Organic Production is going to benefit more than 20 lakh farmers with organic exports targeted to exceed $1 billion. So amongst all those exports, we want to have a big chunk of organic exports as well, because organic exports are of very high value, right? So if you are selling a normal particular apple, and then you have an organic variety of the apple, so you'll have more buyers, and they'll be in a position to, or they'll be willing to pay even more premium for that. They'll be in a position to pay a high premium for that organic apple. This is what the idea is. So you have to keep this thing in your mind. And the question is that what all are the factors which are driving the export growth? We are clearly seeing the export growth, right? So we have the policy push. We'll be talking about that particular thing, new foreign trade policy, what exactly is it doing? And there are sector specific schemes as well. MSME support is there. I'll be going in deep, into this particular point. We have seen the diversification of the export market also. Like, we have seen rising demand from Southeast Asia, Africa, even Latin America. So no doubt the global slowdown the world has seen, but we have also explored new opportunities, new markets for India. When we talk about the trade agreements, we have seen new bilateral and multilateral deals. For example, India, UAE, SEPA, or even, we have recently signed with the UK as well. We are improving trade relation with other countries as well, like including Australia, which actually is a great driver of exports. And no doubt that supply chain realignments are there. We are improving our logistics as well, which in a way is a very positive thing on that particular note. Now, I would like to talk about, these four pillars, these four aspects, that what government has done in order to improve the exports. कि government कर क्या रही है? New foreign trade policy का क्या role है? Logistics policy, that PM Gati Shakti, or even PLI schemes, Bharat Mart, what exactly are these, so that you can use them in your mains answers as well if you want. Starting with this, new foreign trade policy, in the past 2 years, it has done wonders because it focused on the export incentives. Ease of doing business so hai hai. At the same time, we have seen that one-time amnesty scheme was also introduced to help exporters clear any pending authorizations. So it has really helped exporters so much. So that is actually great. And we have seen, high-tech products or e-commerce are being supported by the new foreign trade policy. Moreover, we have seen the logistics cost being, going down. We have seen, multimodal connectivity is there, because logistics means what? Transportation. So if just imagine you're producing something in Punjab or Rajasthan. So you have to take it to the port. So what is the cost which you incur in taking it to the post in order to export that? You can't export there and then. You can do it by air, but for the bulk cargoes, you have to make sure that you're going to the port and you put in the ship, you export. Even if you're doing it by air, you need to make sure that you have a nearby airport. You have to have proper cargo planes connectivity over there. You need to have competitive pricing. So it's all about logistics. So if you are doing any export or import related work and your logistics costs are very high, you are not going to compete on the global front. है ना? आप बाहर के प्लेस से compete नहीं कर पाओगे और उसके बाद business को loss होता है. So this is a point we have to always understand. On top of that, in the year 2020, we saw coming off this very important PLI, that is production linked incentive scheme. So it's actually a performance linked incentive only. It is to give companies incentive on incremental sales. So a company is doing well, so they are going to be incentivized because they are in a way exporting the product which is made in India. So it is a big boost to the made in India. So we have seen large scale manufacturing in various sectors are being promoted. We have seen employment generation happening. We have seen exports which are being boosted by 4.5 lakh crore. So that is massive. So PLI schemes have done wonders. And now by 2026, that is next year, we are going to have Bharat Mart in Dubai. So Bharat Mart is going to provide MSMEs with affordable access to Gulf countries like Bahrain, Qatar, all these Gulf countries, basically African countries, even CIS. When we talk about the CIS, means like Central Asian countries, various Central Asian countries, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Belarus, वगैरह. So it is going to be working wonders in that direction. So we will see that a significant advancement is going to be there when the Bharat Mart opens in Dubai. So in a way, it will be a great exposure for various MSME industries in India in that direction. So now I am very much sure that you are at least knowing how to use this information. Just imagine a question comes that assess the India's performance in exports in the past 2 years, so you certainly can tell that we have seen a better volume of the exports in terms of the value, overall value. It has certainly increased. That's one thing. Second thing would be that what all are the steps being taken by the government in order to facilitate the exports. So you can list out these things. For trade policy 2023, we have seen PM Gati Shakti PLI scheme since 2020 is working. Bharat Mart is coming in Dubai. So you can tell that what is happening as of now, what is coming up, like Bharat Mart is coming up. So that will be important. On top of that, for example, like if a question is there on the trade, or if a question is there on investments, so you certainly can mention that India, has recorded around $81 billion of FDI inflows in 2024-2025. So these are the data on PIB. So you search on the PIB, you find these data easily. So we have seen FDI inflows grow by 14%. Service sector is leading. So these are very basic points. You should know that overseas Indians are sending a lot of money home, right? In 2024, we had around $129 billion. So that is highest than any country receives. So if you talk about India, from past 3 years, like from 2022, it was $111 billion. 2023, it was $125 billion. 2024, it is $129 billion. So what we have seen not only the overall remittances, that is people who send money home or to the friends, they are increasing, but it is also constantly more than $100 billion in past 3 years. So that is massive, right? So if you talk about 2022, 2023 and 2024, these years में तीनों साल $100 billion से ऊपर है. So you can quote that in your answer. If there's a question on diaspora, question diaspora पे आया, तो आप कर सकते हो इसको mention किया. From past 3 years, we have seen every year we are getting remittances more than $100 billion. You don't need to quote the exact volume कि कितना. Just tell that ki more than $100 billion we are receiving every in remittance, and that is massive. Why it is massive? Because if you see Mexico, which is on the second on the list, it is receiving just half, around $68 billion. So India 129 पे है, फिर China है, Philippines है, Pakistan. So what matters is that India is standing over here on the top. Why? Because we are seeing more and more white collar jobs being taken up by Indians. पहले blue collar में जाते थे, white collar में जा रहे हैं. They are making more money and they are then sending it back home. So that is why we are seeing this particular trend happening. You can talk about the forex. Forex reserves. एक मैंने वीडियो में बताया भी था. It is around 691. So approximately we are on the verge of $700 billion. We did touch it once, but as of now it is 691 billion. So we will be breaching that. That's fine. So you should be having this particular data very much handy. It can work wonders whenever you're writing an answer. If you end up quoting these particular aspects, I can assure you that you're going to get very good marks. So especially, economy, it is all about the data. But if you are able to quote the data, you're going to do well. So like we did talk about the exports. So now you have an idea about the exports. You have idea about the FDI. You have idea about the, remittances sent by Indians back home. You have an idea about the forex reserves of India. So these particular data can act as a great enabler for you to paint the picture of overall economy. And on top of that, you can study about the GDP, per capita. You should know what is the level of poverty in India, so that very much gives you an idea that where are we standing. On top of that, thoda HDI ka idea hona chahiye, HDI index mein what is the rank of India. So if for any country for that matter, if you have this data, you can give a good idea about that. So just imagine this thing. We are exporting how much? It's more than 800 billion का हमने export किया. FDI से 100 billion से ज़्यादा लिया. Sorry, $80 billion लिया. Remittances में $100 billion आया. So this is giving you an idea कि India में पैसा flow हो रहा है. A lot of money is coming to India. And तभी तो फिर GDP पे भी impact होता है. Overall, so how is it linked to the balance of payment? You should know about that. BOP. What is BOP? What is current account deficit? How does remittances help us in the current account deficit management? How does service export help us in the current account deficit management? How is current account different from the capital account? FDI capital account में, current account में क्या आ रहा है? Services क्या export? So you should have this idea that how do we connect things together? How do we connect the dots together? Only then you're in a position to write a good answer. So just imagine you have a question on India's trade, and you start with this, that constantly we have doing well in terms of exports, and moreover, so you can connect things together. So I'm not saying that you cram the data, but you have some idea, right? So $800 billion से ऊपर exports है, just इतना याद रख लो. $100 billion से ऊपर remittances आई, इतना याद रख लो. FDI 880 billion है, जो भी है. So इतना भी अगर आपको पता है, that means you are on the right track. So I hope you found this session useful, and I try to make sure that these are crisp sessions, like 20 minutes, 21 minutes, because बहुत ज़्यादा इस पे टाइम वेस्ट करके फ़ायदा नहीं है. I try to keep it as simple as that. And so it's a 20-minute session, as you've seen. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're here new, and I'll try to keep on enriching your knowledge with more sessions like this. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.